Nikki and Momo have officially crossed borders and entered the chat in a new region called the Heartcraft Kingdom. They are linking up with the Stylist Guild and immediately getting to work, tracking down clues about miracle outfits. It is giving major quest energy as they craft new fits and dig up ancient pottery that strangely looks just like Momo, which is honestly kind of suspicious and hilarious. Momo is trying to be the ultimate photographer and capture the perfect aesthetic shot, but the universe has other plans. The scenery is absolutely stunning, but then things take a chaotic turn with a landslide and a random sandstorm inside a canyon. The situation goes from 0 to 100 real quick, and they are suddenly lost in the sauce of this mysterious weather event. Things are getting super weird and cryptic, with a mysterious voice talking about fading lights and unanswered prayers. This entity is dropping some serious lore about a cycle of fate and a cage, which sounds incredibly toxic. Nikki is trying to make sense of this spiritual voicemail while the voice talks about Icarus and twisted faith, setting up a major conflict with the local belief system. Nikki wakes up to absolute chaos with a bunch of cute mushroom people called Shroomlings freaking out over her. Apparently, she has been out cold for 3 days, and they have decided she is their Saintess, which is a massive title to drop on someone who just woke up. Momo is being treated like royalty, which is honestly on brand for him, while Nikki tries to figure out why she is suddenly a religious icon. The Shroomlings are treating Nikki like she is fragile glass, but she is ready to touch grass and figure out what is actually going on. They mention the High Priestess and some intense religious politics involving the Lords of Docilism. Nikki realizes she needs to play along with this Saintess role to uncover the tea about the twisted faith and the mysterious god mentioned earlier. We are at the Snail Ranch, and the vibes are immaculate until a Shroomling gets terrified of a bird messenger. It turns out the religious leaders here are super strict and have banned ancient songs, which is literal gatekeeping of culture. Nikki helps calm the situation down by grooming the bird, proving she is the ultimate animal whisperer, and not here for the toxic rules. Nikki gets the lowdown on why the Shroomling was punished, and it is because they sang a song that does not vibe with the current religious narrative. The Docilists want everyone to only worship the Titan King and forget the old ways. Nikki promises to keep their secret, basically becoming an ally to the underground culture while pretending to follow the rules. It is giving double agent energy. A little Shroomling spills the tea on the Titan King legend, claiming he defeated an evil big snail to build their city. But the story has some massive plot holes because the Shroomlings cannot read and only know doodles. Nikki agrees to teach them, showing that she is not just a fashion icon, but also an educator. The history here seems totally rewritten by the winners. The religious police show up to escort Nikki back to the capital, and the tension is palpable. They are trying to control her movements and force her into her role for the upcoming healing ceremony. Nikki and Momo realize they are being watched closely, and the High Priestess seems to be pulling all the strings. It is giving major cult vibes, and they need to tread carefully. Nikki decides she is not about to be controlled and sneaks off to visit the Mother Shroom before the ceremony. The Shroomlings are totally supportive and decide to join her on a gratitude trip, which is wholesome. They are heading into the wild forest, ignoring the red flags from the authorities because following your intuition is always the move. The forest trip turns dangerous when a massive beast called a Ragadon attacks the village supplies. It is absolute panic mode, but Nikki decides she is not going to let a giant monster ruin the day. She prepares to use her styling powers to literally grow to giant size, proving that fashion can solve even the biggest problems if you are creative enough. It is a full-on kaiju battle as giant Nikki faces off against the Ragadon to save a trapped Shroomling. The fight is intense, but she uses strategy rather than just brute force, sneaking up and roaring to assert dominance. The Shroomlings are hyping her up, and she successfully saves the day, cementing her status as a true hero, not just a figurehead. Nikki meets the Forest Keeper, who drops some crucial info about the Mother Shroom being sick because the Guardian Beast is missing. The official story is that the Dorsalists are helping, but it seems incredibly suspicious that the sickness started right when they showed up. The Guardian Beast was exiled, and now everything is out of balance. The math is not mathing. Nikki enters a dream sequence inside the Mother Shroom, and it is a trippy, foggy maze of glowing spores. It feels like a platformer game level where she has to navigate through the confusion. This mental connection confirms that the Mother Shroom chose her, giving her legitimate spiritual authority that the High Priestess probably does not actually have. Inside the dream, Nikki finds a twisted mechanical seed that is draining the life out of the environment. This is the smoking gun evidence that the sickness is artificial and not natural. Someone planted this thing to hurt the Mother Shroom, and Nikki realizes the Dorsalists are likely responsible. It is a massive plot twist that changes the entire mission. Back in reality, Nikki bonds with Domi Baba, the local hero who feels like he failed to protect her. She reassures him and reveals she has some memory loss issues. Domi Baba is super supportive and gives her a notebook, acting like a true bestie. They decide to visit a local doctor to see if they can recover her lost memories and figure out her past. They arrive at Dr. Lumira's cabin, which is surrounded by chaotic little creatures she lured there for an experiment. The doctor is chaotic good, mixing potions and giving cryptic advice. She performs a divination for Nikki that points towards a giant turtle and hints at a deep connection to the land's history. It is giving mystical therapist session. The divination gets intense, revealing markings on Nikki's soul and threads of fate. Dr. Lumira sees danger and old mysteries resurfacing. She gives Nikki a moonlit stone to help with her memory, acting as a spiritual guide. The prophecy is vague but confirms that Nikki is destined to fix the broken history of this land. Following the doctor's riddle, the squad heads to Shell Island to find the giant turtle. They hop on a boat with a sleepy captain, and the journey feels like a transition into a new chapter of the investigation. Domi Baba is tagging along, ready to protect Nikki, and the team dynamic is getting stronger as they leave the forest for the open water. On Shell Island, they crash a temporary stylist guild outpost. The guy in charge is shocked to see the Saintess and complains that the religious leaders blocked the guild from entering the city. This confirms that the Dorsalists are actively isolating the Shroomlings from the outside world, which is classic toxic controlling behavior. Nikki is taking notes on all this suspicious activity. Nikki gets challenged to a styling battle by a foodie chef who is also an extreme stylist. It is a random but fun side quest where Nikki has to prove her skills to get information. After dominating the runway with a sweet-themed outfit, she gets the chef to spill the tea about the crater lake and the fact that the Guardian Beast is definitely not there. Nikki talks to the head of the expedition team, who is totally over the Dorsalists' nonsense. She reveals that the religious group appeared out of nowhere 3 years ago, right when the Mother Shroom got sick. It is becoming painfully obvious that the Dorsalists created the problem just so they could pretend to solve it. The gaslighting is off the charts. The Docilists show up to drag Nikki back to the city, but she is not having it. Domi Baba creates a distraction so she can hide, proving he is a ride-or-die friend. Nikki is done playing by their rules and decides to go rogue to find the truth before returning. It is a high-stakes game of hide-and-seek with the religious police. A mysterious adventurer named Wilhelm essentially kidnaps Nikki, but claims it is for a partnership. She forces Nikki to open the sealed Colosseum, which is a bit toxic, but they have a common enemy. Wilhelm is looking for ancient secrets, and Nikki needs answers, so they form a reluctant alliance to raid the ancient ruins. They break into the Colosseum, terrifying the poor guards who think the place is haunted by vengeful spirits. Nikki flexes her Saintess authority to get past them. Inside, the vibes are spooky and ancient, with murals on the walls that contradict everything the Docilists teach. It is time for a history lesson that is going to shatter the current worldview. The murals reveal the shocking truth that the Titan King actually imprisoned the real dragon god. This means the entire religion everyone follows is based on a lie. Nikki starts having visions and realizes the history has been completely rewritten to manipulate the masses. It is a massive lore drop that changes the context of everything they have been fighting for. They find evidence that the Holy Spear was taken from here, and Wilhelm finds a supply list pointing to a secret warehouse. Wilhelm admits she judged Nikki wrong and apologizes for the rough start. They bond over their shared suspicion of the authorities. Nikki is stepping into her power, no longer just a passive figurehead, but an active investigator. Nikki reunites with Domi Baba, and they clarify the misunderstanding about the kidnapping. Wilhelm joins the squad officially. They decide to grab some food because you cannot fight a corrupt regime on an empty stomach. The team is fully assembled now: the stylist, the cat, the hero, and the rogue adventurer. They are ready to expose the truth. Using clues from an adventurer's notebook, they track down the secret warehouse disguised as a cavern. Nikki uses her giant outfit again to smash through the entrance, which is incredibly satisfying. Inside, they find a disturbing scene that confirms the Docilists have been up to some seriously shady business behind the scenes. They discover a bunch of missing snails locked up in cages, including Domi Baba's childhood friend, Valor. The snails have mechanical seeds implanted in them, proving they were used as test subjects for the device hurting the mother Shroom. It is heartbreaking and infuriating. Domi Baba is devastated to learn his heroes are actually villains, but Nikki encourages him to stay strong. Domi Baba has a full crisis of faith, realizing everything he believed was a lie, but he decides to keep fighting for the truth. They decide to keep this discovery quiet for now, to maintain the element of surprise. Nikki plans to head back to the city to play the role of the Saintess one last time, but with the intention of bringing the whole system down from the inside. The squad prepares to return to the capital's spear. Nikki rides a snail back, which is honestly a mood. They are walking straight into the lion's den, knowing the High Priestess is waiting for them. The tension is high, but Nikki is confident now that she knows the truth. She is ready to face the music and dismantle the lies. Nikki confronts High Priestess Medal, who is suspicious about her disappearance. Nikki claps back with a confident new attitude, saying she needs to see the truth to lead properly. Medal buys it for now, but warns her to stick to the script for the healing ceremony. The power dynamic has shifted. Nikki is no longer the scared girl Medali thought she could control. Nikki visits her assigned home to look for more clues, and then heads out to find the Shroomling King, Sir Abutada. Domi Baba hypes him up as a lucky leader, but there is tension between him and the Docilists. They need him as an ally, so they crash his bath time, because apparently that is the best time to talk business in this kingdom. Chaos ensues when they find out the king has vanished from the bathhouse. It turns out he glitched into a weird pocket dimension due to a dark seal weakening. Nikki rescues him, and he is eternally grateful. He is a jolly, lucky guy who realizes that his passivity has allowed the docilists to take over, and he is ready to make amends. The king drops a bombshell. He was the one who invited the docilists in because he thought they could help. He feels incredibly guilty for being duped. Nikki reassures him that it is not his fault for wanting to help, but now he has to help fix it. He agrees to help them break into the shiny vault to find the missing guardian beast. Before the heist, Nikki has to attend a flower offering ceremony to keep up appearances. The Shroomlings are so sweet and devout, which makes the betrayal by their leaders even more painful. Medal gives a speech about the Titan King returning, hinting that she might be trying to summon something dangerous. The clock is ticking down to the final showdown. They interrogate the Snail trainer, Uralai, about the guardian beast. He reveals the snails have been acting super weird and rebellious lately, probably sensing their leader is nearby. This clue points them toward the shiny vault. Uralai is heartbroken to learn his bosses are evil, but he agrees to help manage the snail situation while Nikki investigates. The king tries to use his authority to get them into the vault, but the guards deny him, showing he has lost all real power. He realizes kindness and wisdom are not working, so he tries his signature luck move. In a hilarious turn of events, he essentially manifests a breach in the wall so Nikki can sneak in. It is pure plot armor, but we love to see it. Nikki sneaks into the massive vault, avoiding guards and navigating a maze of treasures. She does not find the beast immediately, but she finds a collar that triggers a deep memory of the past god, Icarus. She realizes the guardian beast is not inside the vault, but on top of the city's giant shell structure. The target has moved, and they need a way up. The guards spot them, and it turns into a chase scene. They escape just in time and regroup. They realize they need to fly to reach the top of the shell. Wilhelm offers her giant bird, Swanara, for the mission. The plan is split. Wilhelm will pose as the Saintess at the ceremony to buy time, while Nikki goes to save the beast. It is a classic switcheroo strategy. Domi Baba pledges his loyalty to the mission, promising to protect the fake Saintess while Nikki does the heavy lifting. They coin a team name, Shroom Warriors, which is adorable and fierce. Nikki hops on the giant bird and takes to the skies. It is an epic sequence as they fly toward the top of the world to confront the corrupted entity. At the top of the shell, Nikki finds the guardian beast, but it is corrupted by dark magic and goes into boss fight mode. Nikki has to dodge attacks and purify the creature using her powers. It is an emotional battle because the beast is confused and in pain. Nikki refuses to fight back aggressively, choosing to heal it instead. After calming the beast down, Nikki communicates with it and learns that Medale chased it away and hurt it intentionally. The beast, named Whirls, is desperate to save the mother Shroom. Nikki and Whirls team up and rush back to the ceremony. It is the final rally before the climax, with the true guardian returning to claim its place. Nikki crashes the healing ceremony just as Medale is about to do something terrible with the spear. She exposes Medale in front of everyone, revealing the mechanical seed and the lies about the Titan King. The crowd is shocked. Medale tries to gaslight them one last time, but the evidence is too strong. The jig is officially up. Medile doubles down on her villainy, but Nikki stands her ground. The Shroomlings rally behind Nikki and the true guardian beast. Medale realizes she has lost control of the narrative and flees the scene. Nikki uses a miracle outfit to perform the true healing ritual, removing the corruption from the Mother Shroom and restoring the land's vitality. With the Mother Shroom healed, the entire city glows up. The dark vibes vanish and nature is restored. Nikki reflects on her lost memories, feeling a deep sense of déjà vu. It seems she has a much longer history with this land than she realized. The victory is sweet, but it also opens up more questions about her own past. In the aftermath, the king thanks Nikki and officially denounces the false religion. He explains the truth about Icarus being a dragon god, correcting the history books. He invites Nikki to a massive gathering to set the record straight for all the citizens. It is time for a hard reset on the kingdom's culture and beliefs. At the gathering, the king gives a speech about a new era, and Nikki explains the entire conspiracy to the public. She introduces the true history and the guardian beast. Domi Baba also gives a speech, stepping into his role as a true hero. The community decides to tear down the church and build a stylist guild instead, prioritizing creativity over control. The Shroomlings start demolishing the church symbols and raising the flag for the new guild. It is a wholesome moment of rebuilding. Nikki helps draw the final symbol on the flag, cementing her legacy here. The atmosphere is full of hope and excitement for a future where they can be themselves without fear. Wilhelm and Nikki catch up one last time. They suspect Medale fled to the Boneyard to continue her plans, possibly trying to revive the Titan King for real. This sets up the next leg of the adventure. They agree to head there separately to chase down the villain and find the lost city of Heaven's Reach. The journey is far from over. Back at the Saintess's home, the Shroomlings gather around for story time. They want to hear everything about the adventure and the true god, Icarus. Nikki sits down to tell the tale, closing this chapter with a warm communal moment. The story of the false god ends, and the legend of the true dragon god begins anew.